And here it is, the lifting footage for the last couple of weeks. I really didn't think I was going to get this video done, but here it is. Look at that. So unfortunately for you guys, you're going to have to listen to me talk. I am probably not going to put any music on this because, as I mentioned, I have a lot of stuff to say. So as you'll notice here, we've got 3 plates on the bar, so that is 335 pounds on the safety squat bar. And the goal here was to do 5 by 5. Now this was a little bit heavy for Glenn, so he ended up lowering the reps per set, but he was really having a hard time fighting back on the safety squat bar because it wants to knock you over. It wants to make you bend over. And this is my first set. You will notice I do not have a belt on. Looking in hindsight, that was probably not a good idea, as this is the first time I've done anything even remotely heavy on the squats, and this is only my 3rd squat session since I've come back. So it was a little heavy to be attempting without having any idea what my bracing was going to be like. But a couple of issues that I want to talk about. First is the knees. You'll see that they're starting to come in. I'm not happy with my left knee in particular. It's coming in a little bit further than I want to. Now you'll notice with a lot of lifters, their knees come in a little bit on the way up, and that's just your quad activation, and to a certain degree it's okay. I don't want to let it become excessive and lead to knee issues. Now back to Glenn here. You can see he is just giving it everything he has. But what I really liked about that rep is he did not fall forward. As all of you who've been watching this channel for a while know, he has a tendency to, like that, let the bar come forward and he starts trying to have to do a good morning. So we've been really working on that, and the safety squat bar is a very good tool for that, and I highly recommend it. Now back to me, you'll notice I put on a belt. This is the last set, and I was really feeling pretty good about this. Really happy with how upright I'm staying despite not being in the game for so long. But as I mentioned, my knees are coming in a little bit more than I would like to see them. I'm getting a lot of instability on the bottom where I'm kind of shifting back and forth. My feet aren't as stable as I want them to be, especially that left leg there. Now watch this last rep here and just focus on that left leg so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. See how it kind of started to shake there? I don't like that. You gotta make sure that my base is stable. And next squat session, we decided to do some box squats. And you will notice our box is not a box. It is a preacher curl bench because we don't really use it for preacher curls. And look at that. Oh, Glenn putting in some work there. That right there was 385 pounds, and it is a PR for Glenn with this bar. So on to me, and I will mention a couple of things. First is I'm not really happy with how fast I'm sitting down. You can see there I'm kind of letting myself fall the last little bit, but pretty happy about the weight moving. It felt good to actually put some weight on my back. And another thing that I will say about our preacher curl bench is that is a little bit high. So you can see there that would not be depth in any legal powerlifting federation. We lowered the weight down for Glenn a little bit after his first set so he could get some more work in. And for me, it ends up being just a little bit above parallel, but it still gives a lot of good lockout work. And that was 10 reps for me, and technically I was done, but I just wanted to go ahead and give it one more, even though that was super slow. Look at how slow that is, man. Whew. I definitely got to work on the lockout speed. Gonna keep box squats in because I like them. Probably add some bands. And this is going to the reps. As I mentioned, we've been focusing on doing some work capacity work. And I wanted to get a side angle. That's something really good to do from time to time. I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to be competing. So a couple of things we wanted to look here. First is depth. Now with Glenn, you'll see a couple of them are definitely good, a couple of them are maybes, and a couple of them are a little bit high. What we want to see is the hip crease goes below the top of the knee. The second thing that we're looking at is there any rounding in the lower back? And Glenn's doing a really good job of making sure that lower back doesn't round. And lastly, how's the bar path looking? You will notice there, that was really good on the bar path, even with the safety squat bar trying to make him come forward. Now that rep right there, you saw that little bit of a forward lean. That's what we're looking for. Is the bar path going too far forward? And again, a little bit there, but not too bad. So overall, pretty happy with how that looked for Glenn on his first set. Now over to me. So you will notice I'm doing these a lot faster than Glenn. And part of the reason is I just wanted to focus on glute activation. I really wanted to make sure that I was driving the hips and finishing the squat with hip lockout, which is something that I struggle with and a lot of people struggle with, Glenn too. I am getting a little bit of a forward lean there as I'm coming out of the hole. That's something that I'm going to have to work on. I think a lot of that has to do with how fast I was trying to go and a little bit with just not keeping myself upright in the bottom. So that needs to be worked on. And that was just one set that I put in there. What I'm talking about here, the bar on this is actually curved. And it's awesome for fat guys like me. It just comes right up and fits around my belly. So I know when I hit depth because, or depth. I know I've pulled it as far as I can.
That's all the way we
around
get
my
to
belly.
use.
And I can definitely tell you after doing a couple sets of these, it's a great grip workout. And you'll notice Glenn's a little bit more upright with these rows than me. And it's good to play around with a couple of different variations, just hit different things. He's getting a lot more upper trap activation in this than I was. I was more in the middle traps with a little bit of lats. So just play around with it. You know, it's back work. You just want to get it in there and put some work in. I really like this. And then we did some calves. I'm going to put this in here as this video is already too long. Last thing we did was rows. And I only left mine in here because I want to talk about a couple of things. First is form. Now you'll notice I'm not quite getting my arms as far as they should be. That is in part because my arms are short, but it is mostly because I actually cannot lean further forward. And that is due to the rotundness of my belly. I am hitting my thighs, so I'm having to drive my knees out sideways a lot just to get in that position. But based on what I've been reading on the internet, you are supposed to get your knees almost in your armpits at the end or the start position. And as far as pulling back, I don't think I'm leaning back quite far enough, so I need to work on that. And you'll notice my head kind of goes forward as I'm doing the reps. So after this first set, we were doing high-intensity interval training. So we're doing 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. My breathing wasn't as terrible as I thought it would be. But you can see here I'm trying to stretch out my hamstrings. I'm not able to get full leg extension on the rower due to how tight my hamstrings are. So that's another thing that's costing me some speed and some form on the rower. And obviously I've sped this up a little bit. But I need to really make sure that I'm getting long, powerful strokes. My strokes per minute is still a little bit higher than I'd like it to be, and that is indicative of, you know, not good rowing, not maintaining a good pace, trying to make a 1-2 pace on this. But overall, I actually did pretty good on the set in terms of maintaining a solid pace and a solid wattage. And this is right before the last set. Listen to how much different the breathing is there. Definitely took a lot out of me, and I really like this. For strongman, every event that we're going to do where you're going to need any sort of cardiovascular endurance is going to be speed or reps for 1 minute. So 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off is not quite a minute, so we're going to be pushing up on that. But I really like this, and I think this is how I'm going to be doing the rower from now on. Try and work on getting the intervals to last a little bit longer and the strength to go a little bit up. So again, not leaning far back as I think I should. Any of you guys who are rowers, let me know how much further you think I should lean back. And like I said, my head's coming forward at the end. I don't even know why I'm doing that. I've noticed I do that with quite a few things, so I need to fix that. And having to go on my tippy toes because I can't fully extend my legs there. But overall, this was a pretty solid rowing session. I wanted to quit every second, and luckily I didn't want to puke. And I'm going to go through results here.
Oh, that was awful. 3 minutes 45 is rowing, 31 strokes per minute, 281 average watts,
Oh, I haven't beaten it.
1,049 meters.
I haven't beaten it a lot.
At a 147 pace. Wow. That's not bad.
Yeah, you got me.
Woo!
Good job.
I was
there we
down
go.
before I started.
As always, go lift something heavy. Thanks for watching.